just on the corner there on the right. Copy 2. Copy.
Demonstrators continue to be pushed back further and further away from the federal building, further away from Union Station, and we will see how this goes.
Yeah, we don't know what sparked this because it did appear just seconds ago to be calm. It looked like it had calmed down a little bit, but you see those mounted officers kind of closing in a little bit more on those protesters that have lingered here at that Chevron gas station. They don't appear to be getting closer to them, but they have really surrounded them now. A lot of officers there. Yeah,
there has to be a point of egress, some way for those demonstrators to get out of that position, unless these officers really want to move in and just take everyone into custody. We haven't seen any reason other than disobeying the dispersal order to do that, unless we're talking about what that officer might have seen, somebody perhaps blocking traffic, affecting a car, someone walking down the street, doing something that caused those officers to sprint. You know, it's always jarring when you're looking at a situation like this. Any kind of police confrontation where they're kind of face-to-face in a line like this, and you see movement, either from demonstrators sprinting, that can be worrisome, or police seeing something and sprinting like that. It's jarring to see that because you know something is happening.
Well, especially at night, too, because
right.
it being night, that area, as you can see, is not super well lit. It's hard to know exactly what is going on the ground there as those mounted officers kind of move in a little bit closer to those lingering protesters there. But they've started to thin out. I mean, when we were showing you that video of the officers moving forward, there are probably about 100 protesters still there.
Yeah.
It appears as though that they're maybe 20, 30. It definitely seems as though it has thinned out.
Right. And at this point, you question what these demonstrators are there for, what they're looking to accomplish. Obviously, the dispersal order has been given. The protest has ended hours ago. It officially ended, I think, at 5 o'clock this evening. So here we are 3.5 hours after the No Kings demonstration officially came to an end. And you have these people who are, you could say, provoking or just staying out there despite the dispersal orders being given, disobeying officers' orders to leave the area. And here they are lingering. And every moment that they stay here and every inch that they get closer to these police, the tension kind of ratchets up a little bit more. And we see that's when things can really turn troublesome, is when we see those confrontations. Mm-hmm.
And we want to check in with our reporter on the ground, not far from there. Tim Pulliam is live in downtown LA with more as tensions are still boiling. Hey, Tim.
Hi, Sophie, Jory. Yeah, we're not seeing any violence like we did back in June. Let me show you where we are now. We are at the intersection of Alameda and Temple, right outside the federal building. And you can see it is tame here at this section of the intersection because you have about 5 or 6 police officers standing by, the yellow tape, and then there's just a small group of protesters really just kind of standing by. It's not a lot of activity, not a lot of concern that police have right here at this intersection. So, of course, it is not what we're seeing like we saw back in June. These demonstrators are just kind of lingering around. They are just a small group from that larger group from the No Kings protest earlier in the day, which was largely peaceful. Take a look. We've been interviewing so many different protesters of different ages and backgrounds, and they all have a similar message and similar signs saying no to a Trump takeover, no to authoritarianism, no to fascism. Tell me why you wanted to be here.
To show the regime that they're not going to win. They're not going to turn the United States into an authoritarian police state.
I just felt like restless, and also seeing how the Trump administration is really escalating its dangerous, not only rhetoric, but actual actions, like insane ICE raids and blatantly lying about those ICE raids, saying that, oh, we're only getting like criminals, and then they're going into someone's house and stealing someone's grandma.
Because right now, with everything going on, the infringements on free speech, having our identity out is a liability. And that is exactly why we are here protesting today.
I had a chance to speak to one protester, 17 years old. This is his first demonstration.
I want to be here to support my people because we are the people. And I want to support my friends and family and everyone's family. You know what I mean? We're family. And, you know, this country, we need to come back together. We need to come together and we need to try our best to really make America great again. You know, that's why I'm out here, because it's my passion. I love this country.
Many of these demonstrators are calling attention to what they say are deep cuts racist policies in healthcare and education, and they want to see a change in this country. So they are standing out here united, unified with that one message. All right, so Air 7 is giving you a live look of the current situation, which is about a few blocks away from us, where police are on horseback monitoring the small group of protesters, asking them to disperse. We will see if this turns in a different situation and goes sideways, but for right now, it is pretty peaceful. Taking a live look now at the intersection that I am at, Alameda and Temple, again, you just see a small group of protesters. Just a few seconds ago, I saw one demonstrator yelling at a police officer. Not clear what she was saying, but police are standing their ground, just making sure that these demonstrators don't get too close to the federal building. Again, this has been largely peaceful compared to what we saw back in June. In downtown LA, Tim Pulliam, ABC 7, Eyewitness News.
Okay, Tim, thank you. Let's get back to Air 7 and monitor what is happening here. And this is that situation where it's almost like these demonstrators are provoking police, just getting right in their faces, riding a skateboard through this parking lot. 2 dispersal orders have been given by the LAPD, and so technically these people are breaking that order. They're violating the order. If the police wanted to move in, I think they are within their legal rights to start arresting people for remaining on the scene of what has been declared an unlawful demonstration, an unlawful gathering, and a dispersal order. So we will see what happens here. It still looks pretty tense, though. You have a phalanx of officers on horseback just lining Alameda here, now making their way to Main Street. This started right where Tim Pulliam was reporting. Demonstrators on that road, Alameda and Aliso, that's right by the 101. Temple is on the other side of the federal building. And officers throughout the last hour or so have been pushing these demonstrators all the way back. So there we go. We can probably see Tim. He's at the top left of your screen. This is the federal complex. This is Alameda and Aliso, which is completely shut down. Quiet now. Alameda does have some car traffic. I guess that's behind the police line that has opened back up as they've made their way down across the 101, all the way past Union Station, and now at Alameda and Main Street, or Cesar Chavez is right on the other side of this.
You can see some of those lingering protesters there still kind of facing off there with officers on horseback there. Some of them hopping on that dumpster on the left-hand corner of your screen, waving flags. You know, it's unclear if, you know, there's some shouting going on. We did see one officer kind of get out of that line and head towards some of these lingering protesters here. But again, they were supposed to be out of here by 8. We know that the traffic warnings for people commuting through downtown, the delays were supposed to be over. The detours were supposed to be over by 8 p.m. And now we are getting closer to 9 p.m. now. So definitely frustrating for people who are also just trying to get around the area, knowing that today was not going to be an easy day to get through downtown LA.
Yeah, it's a Saturday night in downtown Los Angeles. There are bars, there are restaurants, there are theaters, there are places of business open. A lot of these vehicles, likely that is where they are headed here on a Saturday night, and some of that being interrupted as kind of things have been all day long. There was an organized No Kings protest. Streets were shut down for that, that has now come to an end hours ago, and yet these demonstrators remain here on the scene. We're going to keep an eye on this. We'll keep Air 7 over the scene just to see how this plays out, whether police move in, arrests are made. We did say we saw one person taken into custody behind the police line. They were arrested and likely being taken now to be booked. But these people remain on scene. They are not being taken into custody at this point. No arrests from what we have seen in the last 10 minutes since we have been on the air here. And again, we will continue to monitor this situation in downtown Los Angeles. And I think we're going to keep a picture up on the screen as we continue on here. But we do have some other news to get to. We will have more major stories, more coverage of the major stories happening on this very busy Saturday.
Still to come, the big celebration that happened today at Camp Pendleton.
And the traffic jam that it caused. More on today's complete shutdown of the 5 freeway for events at Camp Pendleton.
Copy. Copy 90. Copy.
Crowd seems to shrink. The people just seem to scatter into the night and decide to call this a night. But here we have, once again, people, there's always agitators. There are people who taunt the officers. And by and large, we haven't seen much of that. But these people do still linger. They know they're not supposed to be out here tonight, yet they remain against officers' orders. And so we'll see if that ends in arrests or if they can continue to just kind of push this back, calm things down, and make sure that everyone goes home to their own beds tonight and doesn't wind up in a jail cell.
Right, and on the right-hand side of your screen here, you can see moments ago, even just a few minutes ago, officers kind of pushing these demonstrators, telling them to go home. That is the message that they've been sent not once but twice now. And again, officers were ready for this day. They were scheduled. This No King's Day protest was scheduled for today. Officers were ready. Officers were out all day, but they're just hoping that people are going home.
They're moving out. Looks like LAPD is going back from the direction they came, and we questioned at what point if the officers just kind of leave the area, how long does this crowd stick around? Are they in this till the end of the night? They want to cause trouble, or are they just out here provoking because the officers are here? As the LAPD looks like they are going to move back, I guess we'll get to the answer to that question and see how this plays out. But the officers are now moving out. We are about 15 seconds from the end of our broadcast. We will continue to monitor the situation playing out in downtown Los Angeles. Our next broadcast is coming up at 10:30, and we'll see you again on Eyewitness News at 11.
That's Eyewitness News at 8. Thanks for joining us. Up next, it's On the Red Carpet celebrates Halloween.